After undergrad, I knew I wanted to become a professor, so I knew I had to get a PhD somewhere. I looked around at some schools, but I knew a lot of the faculty here. I loved the program here, so I decided to stay.
I worked for a few years as an engineer. Ultimately, I decided that it wasn't my cup of tea, so I made the decision to come to vet school and chase a different dream.
My husband and I are both students at Iowa State, but I got my undergrad and master degree in China. The first 2 years, I stay at home and take care of my daughter. But after 2 years waiting, I feel so excited to start my study here.
The first time I came to Ames, Iowa was for a conference. I was just really impressed by the amount of involvement with the faculty and how involved they are with production animal medicine.
Starting graduate school, it could be a lot different because you're handling both the classes of it all and the education, but also it's a job.
I took many hands-on and practical classes here, and it taught me some coding and programming skills. And also I learned how to tell a story with big data.
Our new veterinary diagnostic lab was just built within the last couple years. So as a fourth-year veterinary student in production animal medicine, it's amazing to get to spend time in this world-class facility.
My research mainly focuses on metal 3D printing. So there's a lot of really fun stuff I get to do with lasers, blasting and melting all these really fine metal particles and trying to make new alloys.
During veterinary school, I have focused primarily on dairy and beef production medicine. I'm really passionate about having the opportunity to serve our rural communities and in an area that's really needed.
I've had the awesome opportunity to be a teaching assistant as well as a research assistant. Knowing that what you're going to be teaching is a difficult concept and going from, the students' initial confusion to seeing them have that aha moment of, oh, that's what you meant.
I worked at international students and the scholar office for 5 semesters now. There, I teach the UST 110 class and train the student leaders, and that gave me a chance to help the international students when they just arrive here, help them find their community, give them a strong sense of belonging.
Balancing responsibilities as a graduate student can be very complicated. I've started my family. I have 2 kids now that I've had throughout grad school, and it is probably the #1 challenge of grad school.
Without the support from university community childcare, all of this will not happen. They take good care of my kids. My kids just love their teachers and give me the chance to go to the class and do the assignments.
My favorite part about Iowa State is definitely the people. Throughout undergrad here, I met so many of my friends. All of my groomsmen at my wedding were actually from Iowa State. And the minister of the wedding was actually a professor here at Iowa State who got ordained just for this wedding.
I would like to thank every familiar face and every smile I met here.
I would like to thank, first and foremost, my husband, my close friends here in vet school and beyond, and my parents as well.
It is surreal to think that after 9 years, I might no longer be in Ames. This has definitely been my home, and Hoover Hall has been my home away from home for all of my adult life.
My favorite part about vet school has been lots of little moments where you hit that eureka, like, oh my gosh, I actually do know how to do this, and I know what I'm doing, and I'm gonna do a good job in the future.
I'm glad my friends gave me this suggestion to come to Iowa State. It's the best decision I've made.
If I had to describe my experience at Iowa State University in one word, it would be transformative.
It would be inspiring.
Courage.
Pride.
For my first visit to Ames, I knew that I wanted this place to be a part of my journey. I will miss walking into the veterinary school and being greeted by faculty, staff, and peers that share the same passion for veterinary medicine that I have.
No matter who you are or where you are in life, if you explore with courage here, you may discover a brighter and stronger version of yourself.
I will always look back at my time at Iowa State with gratitude, affection, and pride.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Jessica Ward, and I serve as the Associate Dean for Academic Programs at the Iowa State University College of Veterinary Medicine. It is my pleasure, on behalf of the graduates and faculty, to welcome you to the commencement ceremony at the College of Veterinary Medicine. At this time, I ask that you please silence your mobile devices. Please rise if you are able, or remain standing, as third-year veterinary student Nikki Villalone sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Nikki.
Please be seated. That's a hard act to follow. We extend a warm welcome to all who are in attendance today. Let us begin by congratulating the class of 2026. You have successfully completed 4 years of rigorous training and are about to graduate from the oldest public veterinary college in the United States and one of the finest veterinary programs in the world. You have become an important part of the Iowa State family and enriched the lives of your fellow students, the faculty, staff, and others in the community. We are confident that you are leaving with an education that will serve you well, and that you will be outstanding ambassadors for Iowa State and the veterinary profession. Seated on the stage are faculty, as well as distinguished speakers and guests. I would now like to introduce members of the platform party who hold leadership positions in the college and in the university, as well as our distinguished guests. As I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Dr. Steve Carlson, Associate Professor, Department of Biomedical Sciences. Dr. Monica Howard, Assistant Dean of Veterinary Student Success, College of Veterinary Medicine. Dr. Dan Grooms, the Dr. Stephen G. Julesgaard Dean, College of Veterinary Medicine. Dr. David Cook, President of Iowa State University. Dr. Aubrey Cordray, President of the Iowa Veterinary Medical Association. Dr. Tony Moravec, President of the Nebraska Veterinary Medical Association. Dr. Scott McVeigh, Professor and Director, School of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, University of Nebraska, Lincoln. Dr. Jason Keith, Senior Vice President and Provost. Dr. Toya Younger, Senior Vice President of Student Affairs. Dr. Jennifer Sukon, University Registrar. Hilary Seo, the Colonel Gary G. Swenson, PhD, Endowed Dean of Library Services and Associate Professor of Library Services. Dr. Michelle Supier, Associate Dean of the Graduate College and Professor of Agriculture and Biosystems Engineering. Dr. Jody McGill, Associate Professor and John G. Salisbury Endowed Chair in Veterinary Medicine and Associate Dean of Research and Graduate Studies, College of Veterinary Medicine. Dr. Amanda Fales-Williams, Morrill Professor and Tyrone D. Arts, MD, Chair for Teaching Excellence in Veterinary Medicine and Chair, Department of Veterinary Pathology. Dr. Locke Carricker, Morrill Professor and Director, Swine Medicine Education Center, and the Dr. Douglas and Ann Gustafson Professor for Teaching Excellence in Veterinary Medicine and Chair, Veterinary Diagnostic and Production Animal Medicine Department and Director of the Veterinary Diagnostic Laboratory. Dr. Michael Kimber, Professor and Chair, Department of Biomedical Sciences. Dr. Kathy Miller, Professor and Chair, Department of Veterinary Microbiology and Preventive Medicine. Dr. David Wong, Professor and Chair, Department of Veterinary Clinical Sciences. Thank you. The platform party may be seated. Before we continue, I would like to pause to remember a valued member of our community who is not with us today. Dr. Jared Danielson, former Associate Dean, passed away 1 year ago tomorrow. He was deeply involved in the preclinical education of the class of 2026 and left a lasting mark on our college and the veterinary profession. I know that Dr. Danielson would be incredibly proud of our outstanding graduates today, and we remember him today with gratitude and respect. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Dan Grooms, the Dr. Stephen G. Jules-Gard Dean of Veterinary Medicine. Dr. Grooms became the Dr. Stephen G. Jules-Gard Dean of Veterinary Medicine at Iowa State University on October 1st, 2018. At Iowa State, Dean Grooms oversees the College of Veterinary Medicine, its 5 academic departments, the Lloyd Veterinary Medical Center, and the Veterinary Diagnostic Laboratory. Please join me in welcoming Dean Grooms.
Okay, members of the class of 2026, the 147th graduating class of the Iowa State College of Veterinary Medicine, on behalf of our faculty, our staff, your fellow VM1, VM2, and VM3 colleagues, and the thousands of proud alumni of this great college, it is my distinct honor to first congratulate you and second, welcome you to this wonderful and extraordinary profession. Please join me in a well-earned round of applause for the class of 2026. Over the past 4 years, each of you have made a personal commitment to show up, to persevere, and to do the demanding work required to become a veterinarian. And what a 4 years it has been. Just take a moment and reflect back on what has occurred during those 4 years. In 2023, our main academic facility was renamed Frederick Douglass Patterson Hall, celebrating and recognizing one of the most accomplished alumnus in our history. You witnessed completion of phase 1 of our new veterinary diagnostic lab and the start of phase 2. And recently, we just launched significant hospital expansions, including additions to the large animal hospital and construction of the pet cancer clinic. And then somewhere along the line, AI became a thing. Now, not artificial insemination, not avian influenza, but artificial intelligence, a technology already reshaping our profession and the world around us. We emerged from a pandemic, COVID-19, only to confront new global health challenges, such as avian influenza, New World screwworm bomb, I don't know where that came from, New World screwworm, and now recently, hantavirus. Just more reminders more reminders that veterinarians remain central to protecting both animal health as well as human health and the nation's food supply. And during your time here, Iowa State's College of Veterinary Medicine rose in national rankings from number 11 to number 6 in the country and from number 16 to number 10 in the world. Think about that. Just think about that. You are graduating from a College of Veterinary Medicine that is recognized as around the world as one of the very best. And that certainly deserves another round of applause. Your journey took you from the classroom and labs to clinics and the hospital, working side by side with world-class faculty, world-class staff, and leaders in our profession. You became integral members of our healthcare teams, delivering cutting-edge, compassionate care. You worked hard, you laughed, you cried, you learned, and you healed, and you saved lives, both animal as well as human. I'd like to take a moment to recount one story from the past year, one that beautifully captures what is meant to be part of this incredible profession. On Christmas Eve, when most of us were gathered with family or preparing for a quiet celebration, a young dog was rushed to the Lloyd Veterinary Medical Center emergency service after being struck by a car. She arrived broken and battered, suffering from severe head trauma, multiple fractures to her skull and her jaw, and profound neurological deficits. Her condition was grave, and the outcome very uncertain. By her side stood her owner, a homeless gentleman with no coat, wearing only one shoe. Overwhelmed with fear and grief, desperately hoping that she might survive, willing to do anything to help her. Without hesitation, the Lloyd Veterinary Medical Center veterinary healthcare team, faculty, technicians, staff, and students sprang into action. In that moment, roles dissolved and purposes sharpened. The team worked tirelessly through the night, pouring knowledge, skill, and compassion into stabilizing her, and just as importantly, into caring for her devastated owner with dignity and kindness. Over the days and weeks and now months that have followed, hundreds of individuals in the College of Veterinary Medicine became part of her journey. Through painstaking medical care, relentless perseverance, and steadfast hope, she slowly began to heal. Each small victory was a hard one. Each step forward was a testament to what is possible when science is guided by compassion. Today, because of that collective effort, her story has a joyous ending. She is now a thriving, active, 9-month-old puppy, full of life, curiosity, and resilience. She is not just a miracle patient, but a symbol, a reminder that outstanding medical care is not defined solely by technical excellence, but by humanity, by service, by choosing to show up with empathy when it mattered most. Today, Honey has joined us to celebrate your special day and to thank you for the time, effort, and love you poured into her care. Please join me in welcoming Honey and thanking everyone that has been part of her journey. Honey will be back, don't worry. As you move forward, remember that none of this happened alone. Your success was made possible through the encouragement and support of your family members, your friends, your partners, your classmates, and your mentors. Please take a moment today, in whatever way feels right, to thank them. A hug, a high five, a text, a call, a toast. Just let them know how much they mattered during this journey. There's one more group I want to recognize. For 4 years, they challenged you, sometimes relentlessly, with terminology and pathways and protocols and drug dosages and cranial nerves. But they also taught you how to reason clinically, solve problems, communicate effectively, work as a team, and care deeply. They pushed you not because they were demanding, but because they care and because they want you to be the very best that you can be. I can tell you that without hesitation, the faculty and the staff of this College of Veterinary Medicine are incredibly proud of you. At this time, I invite the faculty and staff of the College of Veterinary Medicine who are with us today, and if they're joining us virtually, to please stand and please rise and let us offer them our sincere gratitude. Please stand, faculty. As I close, I'd like to share a few words of wisdom from alumni who serve on our College Advisory Council, individuals who have built a meaningful career and continue to shape the future of this profession. Dr. Craig Rolls reminds us, time is our most precious commodity. Use it wisely. Dr. Wayne Fries encourages you to always keep your mind open to change. And Dr. Scott Bernick offers this wisdom, learning is a journey, don't stop moving. And finally, Dr. Bill Heffley simply says, what a profession. I will add this final challenge. Think beyond today. Today's an exciting day and a great celebration, but think about the next step in your journey. Aspire to lead, think boldly, and think big. Every day, consider the impact you have on animals, on people, and your great responsibility to society. And please take care of yourselves. This profession carries great responsibilities, and the responsibilities can only be met when you're healthy in mind, body, and spirit. Best wishes on your next great adventure. Welcome to this noble profession, and in the words of Scott Armbrust, congratulations on your remarkable accomplishment. Now go make a difference. One more round of applause for the class of 2026. At this time, it is my honor to introduce our commencement speaker. Let me make sure I'm in the right place. I am, thank you. Dr. Steve Carlson received his Bachelor of Science in Animal Science and a DVM from Iowa State University. After 3 years as a private practitioner, large animal medicine, Dr. Carlson returned to school and received his PhD in pharmacology at the University of Iowa. We'll forgive him for that. Following a postdoctoral training in pathogenic bacteriology focusing on salmonella, Dr. Carlson worked as a veterinary medical officer with USDA, where he solved a major problem regarding antibiotic resistance in salmonella with enhanced disease-causing capabilities. He now is an associate professor of molecular pharmacology at the College of Veterinary Medicine at Iowa State University, where he teaches pharmacology and reproductive physiology, and is a 6-time Teacher of the Year award winner. He has published over 70 papers and is considered an international expert on the virulence of multiple antibiotic-resistant salmonella in livestock. He also is a co-founder of 2 small biotech companies, both of which are aimed at identifying livestock that are resistant to disease infection. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Steve Carlson. Can you help those you guys?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, congratulations, class of 2026. I am so proud of all of you. Excuse me, caught in my throat. You guys are just so wonderful. So one thing I want to tell the audience is, besides my classroom interactions with these students, I have also played basketball, pickleball with them. I even played basketball with one of them on the beach in Hawaii. And furthermore, my little prop here, is from the Vet School Winter Olympics last year, where this class, along with a few faculty, including myself, we won. And so this is what we get for the next year. And just to further underscore how great this class is, I want to relay an anecdote from a former member of the class of 2026. This individual had to take a year off to help an ailing family member, and she said in her a year away from the vet school, this class was so supportive of her upon her return to become part of the class of 2027. So kudos to all of you for that support. But with that said, I am still not going to bail you out of jail if you get caught using chloramphenicol in a food-producing animal. So, the title of my talk today is The Adaptability of Bacteria is Something That We Should Emulate. And some of you are thinking, what? Is this another one of these silly tangents he goes off on in class? Yeah, maybe, but let's go down that path. So we commonly think of bacteria as our enemies, most of the time. But what I want you to think about is bacteria do not behave teleologically, meaning they don't think about harming us. Their only existence is to survive and advance. A little quote from Jim Valvano. Thanks, Jim. Rest in peace. And so what we have to keep in mind is that they do this not necessarily to harm us, but just for their survival, and sometimes it's at our expense. And so I want you to think back, class of 2026, to our antibiotic resistance lectures. Think back to the Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas are intrinsically resistant to most antibiotics. They're naturally able to resist the slings and arrows of outrageous misfortune. Most other bacteria are not like that. And you can equate that to the human side. There are a few of us who are just super resistant to everything, but most of us are like the ordinary bacteria that have to adapt, survive, find ways around problems, find ways around antibiotics. And so it is those bacteria that we need to emulate. The ones, the Pseudomonas, those people are great, but they're really hard to emulate. And so I want to draw parallels to the adaptability that I went through and that you will likely have to go through as I went through my career pathway. So I left vet school with a DVM degree, went into private practice. I thought I was going to be a Pseudomonas, a nice linear path to success, no problem. Well, after a few years, it just wasn't for me, so I had to adapt. It was a small adaptation, kind of like when bacteria develop those point mutations that lead to fluoroquinolone resistance. So I went back to school, got a PhD. Yes, I'm sorry, I went to the University of Iowa. And I got that PhD, was looking for a drug company job. It never materialized. So I had to make another set of small little point mutations, this time resistance to the second generation fluoroquinolones. And so I got a job in a laboratory near the one I worked in as a grad student, working in a bacteriology lab, working with someone I played basketball with in grad school. You'll see that's a theme throughout my life. And so I stayed in that wonderful lab for a year and was given this opportunity I could not turn down, and that is to become a veterinary medical officer at the National Animal Disease Center here in Ames, Iowa. So you can kind of equate that to me accepting an antibiotic resistance plasmid. Remember those things, those self-sustaining entities conferring lots of resistance? I was now a federal employee. I was on the move. But then I made the one mistake a federal employee should never, ever make, and that is to solve the problem you were hired to solve. So then I was going to get a new project. Wasn't sure if it was going to be good or bad or indifferent. And at the same time, while playing basketball, Tim Day, right there, hi Timmy, Tim Day recruited me to become a faculty member at Iowa State University. And I accepted, came out here, and worked in the department for 12 years. And so what Tim basically helped me do in this adaptation was Tim helped me activate my efflux pumps. So efflux pumps are these excretory systems that bacteria have. It's kind of like their bowels, if you will. And it allows them to flush out chemicals that they don't want in their system. And so with Dr. Day's help, I was able to become a successful academician. And for 12 years, things were going really great. But then I got old and started contemplating retirement. Just all the slings and arrows of outrageous misfortune were getting to me. And then one day, I got a brand new boss, Dr. Michael Kimber. And Michael Kimber empowered me to do what I was really good at and what I really loved, which is teaching pharmacology to vet students. So for the last 7 years, I've had this great upward pathway. And you can see along the way all these little adaptations I've made. And so what I'm going to equate Dr. Kimber's input is Dr. Kimber provided me with the coup de grace of antibiotic resistance elements. The integron, remember the integron? That chunk of DNA that bacteria can acquire confers lots of antibiotic resistance, and it also gets put in the perfect spot in the bacterial genome so that there's no physiologic cost. And so for the last 7 years, Dr. Kimber has helped me reach my potential. And so what I want to do is now just summarize this pathway and all the adaptations that I went through and all the things that you should be prepared to do. Be like that bacteria. Be ready to make a move when you need to. So I switched out of private practice into grad school, like developing that small little resistance to fluoroquinolones. Became a postdoc, another little change. Became a veterinary medical officer, like acquiring a plasmid. Moved to Iowa State, my efflux pumps, I got activated, and then got a new empowering boss. And that was akin to acquiring an integron. But the key theme all along the way is I had help. I had a lot of help. And so I want you to equate that to the bacterial quorum sensing mechanisms. Remember those little chemical signals that bacteria send to each other, tell each other, hey, let's get together and have a party. Let's exchange some plasmids. Let's do something to this host that we can do. And so what I would encourage you to do is along the way, you're going to have to activate that quorum sensing pathway. So when you need help, reach out. The veterinary community is exceptionally compassionate. There's always going to be someone who's going to help you in your journey. So I'm going to close with 3 reminders and then 2 quotes. First reminder, don't inject yourself with tilmicin. That antibiotic is so nasty. Number 2, don't take flunixin for a hangover. It doesn't work, and down the line it might make you sick. And then number 3 is be wary of a Walter White looking character showing up at your clinic wanting to buy all of your supply of Anapril. Because if you do encounter someone like that, they're probably trying to make meth with it. And if you do encounter this person, call me, because then we're going to write the next great television show. We're going to call it Breaking Bad Part 2, The Veterinary Years. Okay, moving on to the quotes. First quote is from Dr. Holly Bender. So Holly was probably the greatest instructor to walk the halls at the vet school at Iowa State, although I think Gail Brown has probably eclipsed that. I see a lot of heads nodding. I think so. So early on in my ISU career, I was at convocation, and Holly won her seemingly annual teaching award. And someone asked her, Holly, why are you so good at teaching? And her humble response was, I just love vet students. And I thought, that's a nice response. Kind of corny, but nice. So then after I won a few teaching awards, I realized how spot on Holly is. I love you too. Vet students are amazing. You work hard, you're so diligent, you're so conscientious. For those in the audience who are related to one of these students or who just know them, they are such great people, and you should be thankful that they're in your life. And then the Last thing I'm going to mention, yes, indeed. The last quote comes from Mark Twain, or supposedly Mark Twain. There's a controversy whether he actually said this or not, because I guess he could be kind of a jerk, and this quote doesn't sound like it would come from a jerk, but. So the quote is, "The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you figured out why." So for me, I have figured out my why, and that is to teach pharmacology to vet students. And so I need you all to get out there and adapt and pivot and figure out your why. Congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carlson. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. David Cook, the 17th president of Iowa State University. An Ames native and Iowa State alumnus, President Cook began his tenure here at Iowa State on March 1st. Most recently, he served as president of North Dakota State University for nearly 4 years. With more than 25 years of leadership experience at research-intensive universities, President Cook brings a deep commitment to student success, research and innovation, industry partnerships, and Iowa State's land-grant missions. He holds bachelor's degrees in political science and speech communication from Iowa State University and a master's and PhD in organizational communications from the University of Kansas. Please welcome Iowa State University President David Cook.
All right, thank you, Dean Grooms. It's a pleasure to be here to celebrate the class of 2026. Graduates, congratulations on earning your degrees from Iowa State University's College of Veterinary Medicine. I want to thank today's commencement speaker, Steve Carlson, and I'm reading the script here. It says, "For your insightful and humorous remarks." So well played, I like that. I'd also like to thank Dr. Aubrey Cordray, President of Iowa Veterinary Medical Association, and Dr. Tony Maravets, President of the Nebraska Veterinary Medical Association, for being here today to celebrate this afternoon's ceremony. We're also very grateful, and I in particular are very grateful for the very strong faculty, staff, so dedicated to the veterinary profession here, and to, of course, all of our students. And I want to personally also recognize the outstanding leadership of Dean Grooms. Can you all join me in thanking all of them today? And you've heard a little bit of this already today, but veterinary medicine has a proud tradition at Iowa State, a tradition of national leadership and research, in research and teaching and extension and overall excellence. A tradition of excellence as the nation's first public veterinary college, and of course, one of the very best, as you already heard, ranked number 10 in the entire world. That's pretty spectacular. A tradition of innovation, advancing animal and human health and supporting the animal agriculture industry, which is of course so important to our state, but even globally. And a tradition of preparing exceptional veterinarians to serve communities here in Iowa and across the globe. Graduates, you became part of the proud tradition the day you arrived on campus, and today you carry this legacy forward. Your persistence, your discipline, and your commitment have brought you to this defining moment. Congratulations. We wish you all of the success in the years ahead. To the family members and friends and everyone who supported our graduates along the way, thank you. Getting a degree in veterinary medicine is not easy. It's a journey, and they can't do it alone. So thank you to all of you. And again, to Dean Grooms and his team and the faculty and the staff of the college, congratulations on a job well done. Congratulations again, graduates. Give them all a round of applause.
Thank you, President Cook. It is now my pleasure to present the candidates for graduation. Would the candidates for graduation please stand? President Cook, these candidates have satisfactorily completed the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Veterinary Medicine and have been recommended by the college, university faculties, and approved by the State Board of Regents for the degree Doctor of Veterinary Medicine.
Dean Grooms, in recognition of the satisfactory completion of your students in the College of Veterinary Medicine and by the authority vested in me by the Iowa Board of Regents, I now confer upon you your degree, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. The diploma you receive will stand forever as evidence of your high academic rank and outstanding achievement. Again, graduates, congratulations.
Thank you. One moment, please. Dean Grooms, assisted by Dr. McVeigh, will now award the diplomas to the graduates. Upon receipt of the diploma, they will be greeted by President Cook as they are led by the marshals and escorted by college faculty. The marshals for today's ceremony, chosen by the graduates, are Dr. Gail Brown, Professor of Veterinary Microbiology and Preventative Medicine, and Dr. Jamie Copper, Assistant Professor, Veterinary Clinical Sciences. Also, as chosen by the graduates, those placing the doctoral hoods will be Dr. Justin Brown, Assistant Professor, Veterinary Diagnostic and Production Animal Medicine, and Dr. Eric Rowe, Associate Professor, Biomedical Sciences. Candidates will be graduated in alphabetical order as they appear in the program. I ask that you hold any lengthy applause until all diplomas have been awarded. Marshals, please prepare the first graduate. Catherine Lynn Aronson. Ariel Marcia Ackerman. Michaela Rose Adams. Daniela Aguirre. Lauren I. Ehlers. Morgan Elizabeth Almeida. Lane Patrick Osdemore. Jahala Jean Baker. Elizabeth K. Barnes. Kayla Barazzini. Alexander Ryan Bebb. Caitlin Diane Belding. Jameson David Bell. Isabella Fresia Bennett. Faith Elizabeth Berg. Caitlin Rose Bettine. Avinash Bevor Shastri. Kimberly Bierbaum. John Alexander Bigham. Rebecca Visser Billings. Cassandra Elizabeth Black. Joshua Aaron Blasey. Shelby Bloom. Brian James Bochinsky. Alexis Nicole Bordy. Amber Rose Borino. Bailey Bortz. Emily Ann Burke. Kelsey Lynn Briney. Chloe Cynthia Brown. Rachel Brungart. Samantha Lynn Cagle. Amber Carter. Margaret Evelyn Service. Lacey Ellen Clark. Taylor Marie Clark. Kristen Nicole Cleaver. Samantha K. Cole. Nicole Crawford. Catherine Dalzell. Bailey Christine Decker. Madeline Diane de Leon. Jenna Catherine DeMay. Brian Donahue. Quincy Donth. Lauren Elizabeth Downs. Riley Susan Druye. Leland M. Ducksworth. Maggie Ann Engelhard. Bria Erdman. Molly Kate Eyerly. Rachel Ferguson. Kaylin Fitzporter. Grace Ann Friel. Kaylin Friesen. Paulina Garcia. Alec Dean Gall. Kendall M. Goodwin. Carolyn Marie Granda. Natalie Gittison. Lauren Hansen. Reagan Lorraine Hatfield. Valerie Ann Henry. Cassidy Alyssa Hernandez. Kimberly Hom. Colleen Elizabeth Hoagie. Olivia Hoover. Ethan Michael Hornbuckle. Madeline M. Horton Kaiser. Parker N. House. Sydney Ruth Metha Hall. Arabelle Haley Jackson. Jake Andrew Jensen. Rachel Jonas. Rebecca Ann Canoza. Amanda Kuiper. Madison Ann Kelchin. Jessa G. Kelleher. Austin Ryan Kennedy. Carter Joseph Kent. Helen Kim. Kelsey Elizabeth Klosko. Austin R. Kosusnik. Isabel Ann Krupa. Esther Lee. Tiffany Yoshin Lee. Mitchell Stephen Leppert. Kylie Christine Lavon. Rachel London. Blanca Beatriz Lopez. Devin Joseph Ludwig. Gabriella Grace Luke. Christina Marie Maloney. Elias I. Manners. Emma Ann Mannery Grand George. Kelly Nicole Marshall. Jennifer J. Mathieson. Samantha Macbeth. Benjamin Allen McLean. Haley McClure. Victoria Casey McCombs. Tatiana McCubbins. Maya Frances McIntosh. Bailey Ann McMillan. Alexandra Mello. Allison Michelle Menick. Rebecca Grace Metcalf. Samuel Preem Millard. Catherine Ann Moore. Rachel L. Mosley. Giselle Navarro. Erica Lynn Nelson. Anna Marie Nye. Olivia Pereira. Emily Lee Peterson. Gus Noel Peterson. Josie Cass Peterson. Megan Elizabeth Pokorny. Hannah Marie Pollard. Crystal Ann Pratt. Jacob A. Protzman. Griffin Miles Query Peterson. Carissa Quimby. Sarah Suzanne Rath Foster. Madison Taylor Kathleen Reed. Lily Renee Rund. Nora E. Runstead. Aline Mary Scallon. Cora Elizabeth Shaw. Samantha Jane Sheppers. Ty Scholerman. Jordan Ashley Schroeder. Mary Kate Scheidels. Summer M. Smith. Caitlin Elizabeth Solberg. Cassidy Price Stanley. Jade Paulson Stanley. Abigail Christine Stewart. Lance Dawson Steens. Elizabeth Lynn Thomas. Riley Alexis Temp. Jenna Elizabeth Trenhale. Nicholas Johann Unman. Brianna Page Ueno. Cassidy Nicole Van Manen. Kelsey Justine Coates Vashaw. Rachel Agnes Voigt. Quentin Michael Waits. Allison S. West. Bailey Marie Wetzel. Madeline May Ann Wheeler. Mallory Suzanne Wilhelm. Brooke A. Wilson. Jinan Xiao. Zoe B. Zintkovic.
Will all of the graduates please rise and turn to face the audience? Parents, relatives, and friends, it's time for the lengthy applause. Please join me in recognizing Now, graduates, stay facing the audience because before you are all those who have assembled to recognize you obtaining this degree. Please show your recognition of their support and contribution to you having achieved this milestone. Congratulations, graduates, and you may be seated. Academic excellence continues to be a hallmark of education at Iowa State University. We believe that all graduates of the College of Veterinary Medicine are outstanding scholars and exemplary citizens. Each year, we give special recognition for exemplary scholastic achievement. Graduation with distinction signifies achieving an academic grade point average of 3.5 or above, where 4.0 is the highest achievable grade for all courses taken in the professional veterinary curriculum. These individuals are identified by their honor cords and in your program. It is with high regard that I recognize them publicly at this time. Graduating cum laude with a cumulative GPA of 3.5 to 3.69, graduates, please stand. Graduating magna cum laude with a cumulative GPA of 3.7 to 3.89, graduates, please stand. And graduating summa cum laude with a cumulative GPA of 3.9 to 4.0, graduates, please stand. Congratulations to these accomplished scholars. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Aubrey Cordray, President of the Iowa Veterinary Medical Association, and Dr. Tony Moravec, President of the Nebraska Veterinary Medical Association, to lead our graduates in reciting the veterinarian's oath.
On behalf of the Iowa and Nebraska Veterinary Medical Associations, it is truly an honor to be among the first to congratulate you as you join the profession. Graduates, I remember sitting where you are, so excited, definitely nervous, and ready to finally begin. What I have learned since that day is this: the degree you receive today opens doors, but the oath you take defines how you walk through them. There will be moments of confidence and moments of doubt, moments where you feel like you have all the answers, and moments where you don't. Through it all, let this oath be your anchor. Let it guide your decisions, your leadership, and the way you serve both animals and the people who love them. You are about to write the next chapter of your story, and no two stories in this profession look the same. That's the beauty of it. Trust yourself as you step forward and know that you belong here. You are not just entering a career, you are joining a community, one that will celebrate your wins, support you through challenges, and stand beside you as colleagues. I also encourage you to be a part of organized veterinary medicine and join your state veterinary medical association and the American Veterinary Medical Association. Your voice matters. Your engagement matters. This is an opportunity to stay connected, involved, and invested in the future of our profession. Without further ado, graduates, would you please stand for the veterinarian's oath? We will recite a line and then pause for you to repeat after us. Being admitted to the profession of veterinary medicine.
I solemnly swear
To use my scientific knowledge and skills
for the benefit of society,
through the protection of animal health and welfare,
the prevention and relief of animal suffering,
the conservation of animal resources,
the promotion of public health,
and the advancement of medical knowledge.
I will practice my profession conscientiously,
with dignity,
and in keeping with the principles
of veterinary medical ethics.
I accept as a lifelong obligation
The continual improvement of
my professional knowledge and competence.
doctors. Congratulations. On behalf of the Iowa and Nebraska Veterinary Medical Associations, welcome to the profession. We are honored to call you colleagues.
Thank you, Drs. Cordray and Moravec. Graduates, you may be seated. Before we conclude today, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to all of the staff who have made it possible to coordinate this celebration and those who have supported our graduates throughout their vet school journey. Let's recognize them. I see you, Mindy. And it is my pleasure to conclude by letting us give one more round of applause to the class of 2026. I now declare this graduation ceremony concluded. Please stand and join third-year student Nikki Villalone in singing The Bells of Iowa State. And please remain standing until the graduation party has left the platform.
Yep, gotcha. Thank you.
Green hills for thy throne, and for crown a golden melody, ringing in the hearts of all who bring thee love and loyalty. Dear alma mater, make our spirits great, true and valiant like the bells of Iowa State.